Over my 10-year journey of being an entrepreneur, I've had to kill off so many different things. I've had to kill off versions of myself. I had to kill off brands. I had to change services. I had to change products. And unfortunately, that process doesn't stop. And today we're going to talk about my most recent thing I had to kill off, why it happened, and what we're doing instead. So if that's interesting to you, well, keep on listening.
Hi, I'm Brandon Lucero, and you're about to experience the new way to thrive in business, entrepreneurship, and life by leaning into who you are, what you love, and standing up for what you want to create. Get ready, because this is where we go against the grain, say no to outdated society norms, and we say yes to change in order to create a happier, more fulfilled world. Welcome to the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast.
Okay, we did it. We finally did it. We killed the Video Forex effect. It is no longer available for sale. You can't buy it. You can't get it. It's old. It's outdated. It's done. It's gone. However, we have some news. It is done because it's evolving to something else. And I want to talk to you about what that is, why we killed it, what evolvement looks like, and how this might even play out inside of your own business. So let me just address the biggest thing, because I know a lot of students are listeners of the podcast. And I know there's probably a lot of listeners who wanted to get into the Video Forex effect who are like, what do we do now? Well, let me tell you, the very simple answer is the new program is here. It is out. We will be launching it in March, late February, early March. And this essentially is Video Forex Effect 2.0. And it's updated. There's a lot of new things that are going on with it. If you are a current Forex student, you will get this new program for free, because it is just Video Forex 2.0, but we're not calling it Video Forex. Now, one of the biggest problems that we were having with the Video Forex program, which wasn't many, it was working really well, was that it started out 3, maybe even 4 years ago, as actually almost 4 years ago, almost 4. It started out as a program that was designed to help you fix video inside of your business. We talked about the systems of video production, what videos to create. We talked about some messaging, how to create different types of content, how to systemize it. And it was really like, how do you get video content? How do you create a lot of video content without it sucking up a lot of your time? And how do you create all the topics and all of that stuff? And what it evolved to is a messaging program. And so it talked about video. It was really, the name we got Video Forex was because it talked about 4 platforms. So it talked about how to use video on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and your own platform, how to streamline it, and how to make you as the CEO, the person who just shows up on video day and everything's done for you. So that's why it was the Video Forex effects. It's 4 platforms to 4x your results. And it was a synergistic strategy. And so that worked for a lot of years, but it evolved into a messaging program because I started to find out, like, this is what I'm really good at. I just understand messaging, and I was starting to create my own frameworks and philosophies and methodology around messaging and communication and content. And so we'd have a lot of people who come into the program and would ask questions like, what camera do I use? Or what this and what platform over here? Or we would have people who would not want to buy because, like, I just want help with messaging. I don't really want to do it in video. Can I do video? And it's like, well, this isn't really a video course. So we had to change the name. So number one, really, if there's any confusion on why, what's going on, is we really just had to change the name because the name wasn't relevant to what the program was anymore. And it is a messaging and content course, which means that it's going to help you uncover so much about you, your brand, and your business, go to the depths of what you're actually doing for people, how to form that into a message and how to communicate that message, and then how to take that message and communication and distribute it to the world through content. And that content could be video, it could be live video, pre-recorded video, but now the way we teach it is it could also be images on Instagram. It could be podcast. It could be done in ads and in emails. And we started to realize that messaging is an ecosystem. Messaging is not just one piece of content or one video or one whatever. So we teach an entire messaging ecosystem. How do you keep things consistent? How do you put out content without saying the same thing over and over again? How do you pull people in? Like, this is what we talk about. So we ended up killing the current version of the Video 4X effect, which evolved this new program called New Generation Mastery. And that's the name of the program. And there's a new methodology and a new philosophy around it, but it is focused just on messaging and content. And content can be done anyway. It doesn't have to be done through a podcast. Video. Messaging can be done any way you want it to be done. And so that's kind of our focus now. And again, the main thing that I want you to remember that I want to talk about on this episode is that evolving is a part of the process. So when I look back at my journey, let me put it this way. I'm a big believer that your purpose always changes. You might have one higher level generic purpose, which is like you're here to help people or to make a specific impact or something like that. But I think when we dig down to and get very granular on purpose, I think your purpose at the present moment always shifts and always changes. So when I first got started, when I created my company, it was called Sold with Video. And Sold with Video taught people, or didn't even teach, I do as a service, and I made real estate videos for agents. So listing videos, upload your pictures and your videos and stuff, and we'll turn it into a nice video that you can use to show off your listing. And that evolved to, and then adding video SEO, and it evolved to doing automotive videos and job listing videos and all sorts of stuff like that. I felt like it was my purpose in that moment to learn how to make money. Like I was driven by making money. And then it evolved to creating and helping local businesses. And then it was working on a program with James Wedmore to help people start their own local video marketing agency. And in that moment, I felt like that was my purpose. I'm like, this is my calling. This is what I love doing. This is what I'm here to do. And then it evolved to then teaching YouTube and YouTube marketing and Facebook ads and marketing and stuff like that. And those are all, in those moments, those were all very purpose-driven things for me. Those were all like, this is your purpose. This is what you're supposed to do. And at every single level, I went deeper and deeper with my purpose. So when I was doing like listing videos for agents, I mean, that's very surface levels. It's like driven by money. And the deeper I got, the less driven by money I became. So it's like, I really love helping people make money. I really love helping people fix their businesses. I really love helping people like get their message out to the world. There was more depth to why I was doing certain things at each evolvement. Then I eventually created the Video 4X effect, and I just had a whole nother level. I'm like, I can feel it to the core of my bones. This is what I need to be doing. This is what I'm here to be doing. And it evolved, and no one else was talking about it. It took off really fast. And then we started to uncover that I was really great at messaging. And then that led to killing off the Sold with Video brand, stepping into my power, stepping into the Brandon Lucero brand. And then that led to now killing off the Video 4X effect name and getting even more deeper into my purpose. And so what's going to happen is you're going to start to realize that everything you do in life, it may feel like it's your purpose in that moment in time. But really what it is your purpose in that moment in time, but that moment in time will end and it will leave you with a lesson that you're going to need for your next purpose and moment in time. And that will constantly change and evolve and evolve. And what you start with will never be what you end with, but you do have to get started in order to get there. And you will know when it's time to evolve. You will know when it's time to pivot. You will feel it. You'll be less passionate about what you're doing. Like for me, when I was teaching YouTube and I had to move into Video 4X effect, I started to resent the students. I didn't want to talk about the things that I didn't want to talk about anymore. I didn't want to talk about Facebook ads and stuff. And I started the Video 4X effect. There actually came a moment in time where I didn't want to talk about video anymore. I didn't want to talk about like, here's a system inside of your business, or here's how to find a virtual assistant, or here's how to post your content. And I moved more into what I really liked talking about. I moved more into my dharma, into my alignment, because I was learning the lessons I needed to learn to take me to the next thing. And my purpose started to shift. And to me, what purpose is just lining up with what you feel like you enjoy. What do you want to do? What do you enjoy doing? And if something becomes less enjoyable, it's probably time to evolve to something else. Your purpose may be shifting. Your purpose may be changing. And so that's what happened. And I've had to do this so many times with the killing off of the Sold with Video brand, which was hard to do because that was my brand for 6 or 7 years, stepping into my own personal brand, now killing off the Video 4X effect name and that brand. I mean, we even have t-shirts and mugs with the Video 4X all over the place. It's hard to do. Like, you get attached to it. but I'm becoming better and better because I'm starting to realize is that the more we let things evolve, number one, the more our business takes off, the deeper we can help people, but also just the happier we are. And I want to ask you, do you think you're going to be a better, more powerful business owner when you're walking in to do something you don't like anymore, or when you're walking in every day to do something that lights you up? I was at the doctor today, and she asked me a question. So her approach on medicine is different than most. She looks at spiritual, emotional, and physical when looking at health. And she asked me a question about my hobbies. She said, well, how much enjoyment do you get out of your life? Like, how many do you have time for your own hobbies and stuff like that? And I said, well, with kids, it's a little tough, but my work is actually my hobby. And she kind of looked at me a little oddly, like, are you sure about that? And I said, honestly, this type of stuff I love so much, I would be doing even if I didn't get paid. Like, I would be reading these books and exploring these things and designing my own stuff and putting out content as a hobby. Like, I just love it. And I love the influence, the persuasion, the communication styles. I love putting out content, seeing how it does. I love that side of it. And she goes, oh, okay, like nods her head and moves on. And I read a quote, I forget who it was, but they said that if you want to be a business owner, you want to be successful, the people that find it easier to be successful are the ones doing something that they actually love doing. And it's gonna be very difficult for you to be successful in something you don't like doing. And so I've been very intentional with any time something inside of my business, even my role inside of the business is something like, I don't like doing this. I have to talk to Taylor. I have to talk to Matt about how do we fix this? I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. And what starts to happen is we start to see evolve. We start to see things change. But really what it is more of a discovery of who I am, which means for you, it'd be more of a discovery of who you are, and you become more powerful. And that's what's happened because this program we created took me 5 months to create. It's the new version of Video 4X. It's called New Generation Mastery. It took me 5 months to create. And after I'm getting done with this and I'm writing out the worksheets and I'm looking back at it, I'm reading it, I'm like, who created this? I created this? Like, this is so good and going to help so many people. And I love the entire process. And that wouldn't have happened if it was something that I didn't enjoy. It wouldn't have happened if I just stayed stuck into this mode of here's what I've done and I'm just going to keep doing it because it's what makes the money. Sometimes it's scary to stop doing the thing that makes money so you can discover something that maybe you're going to hit a temporary downward spiral, less money, but when you come back up the other side, you're going to move at a whole nother rate. And this is what evolvement is. And evolvement is a big piece of this new program is that if you want powerful messaging, you have to listen to those things. You have to discover those things. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the pillars of the new program. This is the pillars, basically me talking about the New Generation Mastery Method for the first time ever. It's basically Video 4X 2.0. And I'm going to tell you the pillars and we're going to dive into it a little bit. But pillar number 1 is what we call invisible elements. Pillar number 2 is demand creating ecosystem. Number 3 is unique and engaging content structures. And number 4 is quick response. Those are the 4 things that you need in order to create really, really powerful messaging and really powerful content. After working with over 1,000 students, we've dialed it down. Like the people that really see the biggest success with our program, like we've had people to go from $0 to $100,000 months. Like they're doing $100,000 months within 6 months. We've had people go from like 2 million to 4 million within a year. They all have these 4 things. And so this is kind of where the new process started with. So let's dive into invisible elements. This is the first section of it. And there's actually, I believe, 6 levels of invisible elements that we focus on. So things like silence, mastery, evolution, external world, and there's a couple more. I won't dive into all of them. Remembering who you are, things like that. We have a process for each one of those. And these invisible elements are kind of the work that most people don't think needs to happen, but it's the work that, when done, gives you an edge over everyone else because no one does the work, right? It's the thing that people don't think they need. So the people that do it automatically have an edge over everyone else, and everyone goes, why are they succeeding and I'm not? We're almost saying the same thing. And sometimes you are saying the same thing, but what people don't take into consideration with content is the energy you bring to the table. If you're someone who doesn't understand, let me put it this way, if you're someone who does a tutorial on something you don't actually like, and then there's someone who does a tutorial and they freaking love it, the energy they bring through in their content is going to show, and it's going to either attract or repel people. I was reading the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, and what he said last night was what I read last night was that there's a couple of different principles that automatically attract people. And he started talking about a lot of these people like JP Morgan, all these people who, and Andrew Carnegie, who built these businesses. And one of the ways they built these businesses is because people liked them. It's because the energy they brought to the table. And this is what they said. And one of the rules that he said was smile. Just smile at people. Smile at people. And also, he said something like use their name. People love hearing their name. But he said just smiling at people automatically will shift the way they perceive you in your content. Or not, he didn't say content because they're not talking about content, but like sales pitches and stuff like that. And it's not just smiling, it's the energy you bring to something when you smile. It's how you make people feel. And if you're sitting there and you have a out of alignment energy based tutorial, even though you're saying the same words as someone who's super passionate, you're not going to get the attraction that they get. They're going to get way more attraction because of the energy you bring to the table. And so what we do is we take you through a process to uncover these elements. I want you to sit in the silence and get the answers. I want you to remember who you are and get in alignment. If that means destroying your current business, I don't really care. Then go destroy your current business. I understand that it's going to be hard. I'm going to be with you every step of the way. I'm not going to tell you to go do that. You're going to have to discover that yourself. But if that's what you decide to do, then I will be there with you along that journey. But I want to at least bring you to a place where you realize, shoot, I don't actually enjoy this. I want to move you into alignment. Well, I also want you to do powerful content. I want you to do content that you stand up for, that you believe in, regardless of the external world. I don't want you to avoid saying something or avoid being yourself because you're afraid of getting a hater. We bring you through these processes, and really what we're doing at the end of the day inside of these invisible elements is we're helping you regain a lot of your personal power and energy that you may be leaking all over the place without realizing it. When we get into worry and to fear, those are two of the biggest ways to waste energy. And if you can maintain that energy and bring it through your content in the form of passion and service, well, your content's going to do way better than somebody else's. And I always tell people, I can give you the best framework in the world to use for a thought reversal. But if you fill that framework up with crap, then all you do is have a crap-filled thought reversal video. You don't have a powerful thought reversal. It's not the framework. Like having all of my frameworks, if I give you a sheet with all of my frameworks and language patterns on it and I give it to you, and you run off with it, and your message is not great, you don't know who you are, you're being controlled by the external world, you're not going to be successful at the program. In fact, we have a lot of people who just come in and take the frameworks and take that stuff, put it out there and like, why am I not seeing result? It's because you haven't done the invisible work to make sure that your content isn't filled with crap. We want your content filled with power, personal power. We want it filled with purpose. We want it filled with passion. I want you to understand what your message is. And so I call it these invisible elements are also that feminine energy. We have to mix the feminine and the masculine energy together. The masculine is very much like the structure, the what to do's, the strategies, the frameworks. We mix that with the feminine energy, which is like sitting in silence, remembering who you are, regaining your personal power. And what happens is you get this beautiful blend of the two energies, which create extremely powerful content. And every single person who has come through our programs, the old Video 4X program, did exactly that. So we wanted to lean into that a little bit more. We didn't lean into it super heavy in the Video 4X program, but we went way more in depth inside of New Generation Mastery. And I'm telling you right now, that is the work that will make the difference with your messaging. So we have invisible elements. Number two, is demand creating ecosystem. So the other thing we realized is that people that saw success with the Video 4X program understood that messaging wasn't just one video, it wasn't two videos, it wasn't three videos. It was an ecosystem. And an ecosystem is filled with content, it's filled with ads, it's filled with emails, it's filled with social media posts, it's filled with live streams, it's filled with everything. And if you don't have a messaging Bible or like a document or worksheet to go to with everything on it, what's going to happen is you have messaging that's all over the place. It's not congruent and they don't line up. I don't care where people are. They could be hearing you being interviewed on someone else's podcast. They could be hearing you on a live stream on your own show. They could be reading a caption you wrote on Instagram. And all of the messaging should be consistent. People should know what it is you stand for. They should know what it is you do. They should know how this piece of content is aligned with your methodology. They should know all of this stuff. And that ecosystem should also create demand. Also, people shouldn't really understand your full message from one piece of content. People should have to consume multiple pieces of your content in you to fully understand what it is that you do. And so what we've done is we figured out ways to be able to facilitate that, build an ecosystem, but also have people connect with you inside of your ecosystem, like you inside of your ecosystem. But more importantly, how do we create demand for them to want to work with you inside of your ecosystem? That's all covered in pillar number 2. So we have all sorts of frameworks and patterns and stuff like that. Number 3 is the unique and messaging content structures. So where pillar number two is mainly figuring out what the message is going to be. What are you going to say? What is it that you want to say? How do you want to say it? Well, content structures are how do we actually put this into a vehicle to get it out to the world? Just because you have a message and you understand the message behind your brand doesn't mean you know how to distribute it to the world. So how do you package up that message through content, whether it be podcasts, videos, live streams, ads, emails, it doesn't matter, but also do it so that it's engaging and unique, so that it speaks to the subconscious mind of your audience. That's what pillar number 3 is all about. We have so many different ways to do educational content. We have 6 or 7 different ways to create educational content besides using tutorials. We have 4 different ways to do thought reversal videos. We have 3 or 4 different ways to do connection videos. We talk about podcasting and image content. We talk about getting people to self-identify with your content. We talk about how to diagnose people with things inside of your content, how to do sliders and image ads and podcast lives, everything inside of that module. So again, let's just recap. We have the first part of messaging is really getting clear on who you are and what's going to make you powerful and what you want to do and what you want to say, and regaining and actually shedding a lot of the stuff that's holding you back. Then once you're at that state, then you can create really powerful messaging. So now we take you through a process to uncover your message and what it is you want to say and how do you want to say it and what do you want to stand for? And we help you create that messaging ecosystem. What are your avatars? What are their pain points? What are all of this stuff? And put that out on paper. Then we say, okay, great. Now we have your messaging down. Here's your content topics. Let's figure out the right type of content for you to do. Here's how you script it so it's engaging and speaks to subconscious mind. Here's the titles that stand out. Here's all of that stuff. And then the last one is quick response. How do we get a quick response on your content? I don't want you to have to work on your messaging for a year. I want you to know instantly if it's hitting or not. I want you to test your messaging. I want you to evolve it. I want you to take the data and I want you to then go back and go, okay, I need to move it based on the data. I need to move it this way, and this way. I want you to grow quickly. And we have a whole process of how to distribute your content so that you get the data, you can adjust quick, you can make and create marketing campaigns and titles and all of that stuff. Now, all of this was an evolution. All of this stuff that I uncovered couldn't have happened unless I evolved. It couldn't have happened unless I continued to over and over again lean into my purpose, trust my intuition over and over again. And if that meant killing off what I have been doing, then that's what it meant. And I just moved forward with it. And I can tell you right now that this new program is going to impact far more people than I could have ever imagined, just because of how powerful it is, but also because it's something that people haven't seen before. It's a process people haven't gone through before. And I'm excited to bring it to the world, and I'm excited to kill off the Video 4X program, although it was hard to do because it made room for this new program, which is going to take people deeper than anything I've ever created has been able to take them. And if you are a current student, I can't wait for you to go through it, because it's going to take you deeper than you have inside the Video 4X. And it's going to help you uncover what type of content you want and help you on such a deeper level. And if you're considering joining, I can't wait to see you inside the program. But the thing I want to leave you with, and the thing that I hopefully this episode is bringing to your awareness, is that what you start with isn't going to be what you end with. And unfortunately, I see so many people, course creators and business owners, get stuck in how things have gone, or what is making the money, or what has made the money. And it stops them from actually pursuing something that's going to not only make them more money, but help them make a bigger impact. It's going to make them feel more fulfilled. And we get stuck. We get scared. We get scared to stop this thing that we've been told is what we should be doing. We get stuck and we get scared that, hey, maybe I'm not going to pay the bills if I stop the income over here, or if I don't do this, or, like for me, Video 4X has been successful. You made millions of dollars in revenue off of the Video 4X effect. What if people hate this new program? You have payroll, you have a team, you have a house, you have a family. What if they don't buy? People love this. People know what it is. I had to battle all that. But I know into the core of my being, after creating the program, it will take me to a new level. And I already am well aware that whatever that new level is, it'll bring me to another one after that, and another one after that, and another one after that. So keep that in mind with your own evolution. Keep that in mind even with your messaging. Your messaging will change. It will evolve. And it's beautiful. It's scary, but it's beautiful. So with that being said, I want you to think about some ways right now that you may be stopping evolution inside of your own message and your own business. And usually it's going to come down to fear and worry, because your intuition in your heart will show you and guide you to where you need to go. In fact, you probably already know where you need to go, what you need to do, or what you need to say. And you're letting fear and worry stop you from that evolvement. So with that said, hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you on the next one.
Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out another episode of the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, go below, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you click on that bell icon and get notified every time we drop a new episode. Now, if you're looking for the show notes, we have them linked underneath this video, as well as our social media handles and some links to free training and offers that we drop from time to time to help you guys even further. So go check those out if you're interested, and thank you so much for tuning in to the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast.